ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। तदारजस्तमो भावाकामलोभादयस्ते चेतैरनाविद्धं स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. First of all, offer the millions of obeisances to lotus feet of Asmade Gurupad Padma Nitila Prashta Jagat Guru Srimad Bhakti-Vidanta Vishnu Maharaj, and also offer obeisances to lotus feet of President Sannyasi Srimad Bhakti-Vidanta Maharaj Ji, Namnita Santa Shri Aniruddhas Prabhuji, all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who are gathered here for online Bhagavatam class. Please accept my humble obeisance. So, we are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, Nigamakalpataro Jalitam Khalam Shukamukharamritadrabasam Yutam Daivata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Rasika Vibhauka. Text 6, chapter 1.7. Anarthopashamam sakshat bhakti yogam adhokshaje lokasya janato vidvans chakre satvata samhitam. Anarthopashamam sakshat bhakti yogam adhokshaje lokasya janato vidvans chakre satvata samhitam. Anartha, things which are superfluous. Upashamam, mitigation. Sakshat, directly. Bhakti yogam, the linking process of devotional service. Adokshaje, transcendence. Vidwan, extremely learned. The supreme truth, Samhitam, Vedic literature. The material miseries of the living entity, which are superfluous to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the mass of people do not know this, and therefore the learned Vyasadeva compiled this Vedic literature, which is in relation to the supreme truth. Srila Vyasadeva saw the all-perfect personality of Godhead. This statement suggests that the complete unit of the personality of Godhead includes his parts and parcels also. He saw therefore his different energies, namely the internal energy and the marginal energy and the external energy. He also saw his different plenary portions and parts of the plenary portions, namely his different incarnations also. And he specifically observed the unwanted miseries of the conditioned souls who are bewildered by the external energy. And at last he saw the remedial measure for the conditioned souls, namely the process of devotional service. It is a great transcendental science and begins with the process of hearing and chanting the name, fame, glory, etc. of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The level of the dormant affection or love of Godhead does not depend on the mechanical system of hearing and chanting, but it solely and wholly depends on the causeless mercy of the Lord. When the Lord is fully satisfied with the sincere efforts of the devotee, he may endow him with his loving transcendental service. But even with the prescribed forms of hearing and chanting, there is at once mitigation of the superfluous and unwanted miseries of material existence. Such mitigation of material affection does not wait for development of transcendental knowledge. Rather, knowledge is dependent on devotional service for the ultimate realization of the Supreme Truth. Yasya Vaishyamānāyam Krishne Pura Parama Purushe Bhakti-Vidanta Pumsa Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. Yasyam, the Vedic literature, by certainly, Shruyamānāyam, simply by giving oral reception, Krishne, unto Lord Krishna, Parama, Supreme, Purushe, unto the personality of Godhead, Bhakti, feelings of devotional service, Utpadyate, sprout up, Pumsa, of the living being, Shoka, lamentation, Moha, illusion, Bhaya, fearfulness, Apaha, that which extinguishes. Simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. There are various senses of which the ear is the most effective. The sense works even when a man is deep asleep. One can protect himself from the hands of an enemy while awake, but while asleep, one is protected by the ear only. The importance of hearing is mentioned here in connection with attaining the highest perfection of life, namely getting free from three material pangs. Everyone is full of lamentation at every moment. He is after the mirage of illusory things and is always afraid of his supposed enemy. These are the primary symptoms of material disease. And it is definitely suggested herein that simply by hearing the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, one gets attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. And as soon as this is effected, the symptoms of the material disease disappear. So the Vyasadeva saw the all-perfect personality of Godhead, and in this statement, the all-perfect personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is clearly confirmed. The ultimate result of devotional service is to develop genuine love for the Supreme Personality. Love is a word which is often used in relation with man and woman. And love is the only word that can be properly used to indicate the relation between Lord Krishna and living entities. The living entities are mentioned as Prakriti in the Bhagavad Gita, and in Sanskrit, Prakriti is a feminine object. The Lord is always described as the Parama Purusha, or the Supreme Male Personality. Thus, the affection between the Lord and the living entities is something like that between the male and female. Therefore, the term love of Godhead is quite appropriate. Loving devotional service to the Lord begins with hearing about the Lord. There is no difference between the Lord and the subject matter heard about Him. The Lord is absolute, and thus between Him and the subject matter heard about Him. Therefore, hearing about Him means immediate contact with Him by the process of vibration of the transcendental sound. And the transcendental sound is so effective that it acts at once by removing all material affection mentioned above. As mentioned before, a living entity develops a sort of complexity by material association, and the illusory engagement of the material body is accepted as an actual fact. Under such false complexity, the living being under different categories of life become illusioned in different ways. Even in the most developed stage of human life, the same illusion prevails in the form of many isms and divides the loving relation with the Lord, and thereby divides the loving relation between man and man. By hearing the subject of Srimad Bhagavatam, this false complexity for in so many situations. Want of distinction and man, and nation, but at the same time, because too much attachment for material domination, there is illusion and fearfulness. Therefore, the politicians' peace conferences cannot bring about peace. It can only be done by hearing the subject matter described in the Bhagavatam about the Supreme peace and peace Yes, but long as for the validity of Sri Krishna and supreme personality of Godhead, there are hundreds and thousands from different scriptures, and there are hundreds and of evidences, personal experiences, would Vrindavan. Kaumudi, the synonyms of Krishna are given as the Sarveshwara and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The conclusion is that simply by hearing the Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, one can have direct connection with the Supreme Personality, and one can attain the highest perfection of life by transcending worldly miseries, illusion, and fearfulness. These are practical tests for one who has actually given a sublime hearing to the readings of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramana Govinda Jai Jai Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Radha Ramana Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai. So here, Anarthavosamam Sakshat Bhakti Yogam Adoksaje Lokasya Janato Vidvam Sati Satvara Samhitam. This is a description of Vyasadeva, Vidwan. Even from the literary point of view, if you see the contribution of Vyasadeva, it is not possible in any age. So many books, 4 Vedas, Vedanta Sutra, Upanishads, Puranas, and the most important contribution is the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is his latest contribution. Under the instruction of his spiritual master, Narada Muni, he contributed Srimad Bhagavatam, Amalam Puranam. Amalam Puranam means there is no material contamination. But above this is the Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, again, so they went
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanavad Prams. Your line is not clear. Hare Krishna.
Dharma, no, moksha. Atma, what to after
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat Pranams, please bear with us. Maharaj will log back in with another Wi-Fi. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
No, actually, network is very weak, I think.
Oh, okay,
A lot
sorry.
of visitors from outside. Maybe I don't know whether if I turn off video, will it be better? Huh? Okay, let
It's
me see.
better now. We can hear now.
Better, okay. You let me know if network deteriorates, I'll turn off the video, huh? Maybe, huh? Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
let me know. Huh? Yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. The material diseases, everyone is hankering after something which he hasn't got. And when he loses that thing, he's lamenting. These two business. Shochati Kankshati. So Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na Shochati Kankshati. When one is actually self-realized, Brahma Bhuta na Shochati na Kankshati. This is the symptom. So one is will not hanker for anything. Then some will do. Then it is possible to see equally everyone. Pandita Samadarshana. Vidne Samne Brahmane Gavihasini. Chaiva Shapake Cha Pandita Samadarshina. One has to look upon all living entities equally. So that is liberated stage. So when one has come to the liberated stage, from there he can begin Mad Bhaktim Lavate Param. Bhakti means the activities of the liberated stage. That is not a material thing. So this Krishna consciousness movement is little difficult to understand because these activities are for the person who have already attained moksha. So Gunan Samati Taityan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpati. In the Bhagavad Gita also it is stated, Mam Chaya Vicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate. So Gunan Samati Taityan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. So do not misunderstand that bhakti is lower than something else. There are karma. Jnana, Yoga, Bhakti. Bhakti is the ultimate. If you want to understand the supreme absolute truth, take from his instruction. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavam yashyasmi tasvata tato mam tato gyatva vishate tadanantaram. Bhagavad Gita 18.55. If you want to know Krishna or the absolute supreme personality of Godhead, who's Sri Krishna? Vadanti tattvavidastatvam yajnanavadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwaniti shabdate. Bhagavatam 1.2.11. The absolute truth is realized from three angles of vision: impersonal Brahma, localized Paramatma, and ultimately Bhagwan. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan iti Shabdate. If you want to understand Bhagwan, Brahma realization is possible. Aruyya Kruchena Param Padam Patantyanaduti Vishmadangraya Yanne Arvindam Yanne Arvindakshi Muktamana Stoyasta Bhavat Abhishuddha Buddhaya Aruyya Kruchena Param Padam Tata Patantyanaduti Vishmadangraya. This Param Padam, Brahma realization and Paramatma realization. So some people, they get Brahma realization, but because they don't respect the personal aspect of Bhagwan, they fall down. Then after Brahma realization is Paramatma realization. Jnana vastit gatena manasa pasyantyam yogina yaskantam navidu sura suragana devaya tasmai namaha yam brahma vurnangalautra maratastam vande divyastavai vedai sangapada upanishade gayanti yasamaga jnana vastit gatena manasa pasyantyam yogino yaskantam navidu sura suragana devaya tasmai namaha. Then there is Paramatma realization. The devotees, the yogis meditate on forearm form of Vishnu, who is situated in the heart. This Parampadam, Brahma realization, and Paramatma realization. Jnanavasiddhatena manasa pasyanti yam yogina. Bhagavatam 12.13.1. But if you want to realize the last phase of the absolute truth, it requires bhakti. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavam yastasi tatvata. So, if you want to understand Bhagwan, then you have to perform bhakti. But not many people are engaging in bhakti. Out of thousands of men, one person may be interested in bhakti. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhe yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvata. Bhagavad Gita 7.3. This is the word used by Krishna personally. Nobody understands him, Tatvata. What is actually? He understands superficially. Krishna was born in Mathura and he was the son of Vasudeva, so on and so on. But one has to understand Krishna, Tatvataha, in truth. And Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvata tato vam tattvato gyatva vishati tadanantaram. If one understands Krishna, then one will be liberated. He immediately becomes liberated. So if you understand simply Krishna, Tatvata, as per the spiritual ontological position of Krishna, then immediately you become liberated. The result is Tattvadeham punarjanma naiti mameti Arjuna. We are changing our bodies. Bhutva. We are accepting. People do not know even this. We have talked about many big professors in Europe, in Moscow also. And they say, Swamiji, after the annihilation of his body, everything is finished. Krishna Swami Maharaj visited Russia. He spoke with Mr. Potosky, the professor in Moscow University, Russian University. And he told that when the body is annihilated, everything is finished. The soul is also finished. So, but we get instruction from the Bhagavad Gita. Jayate mriyate va kadachinnayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano namite hanyamane sharire. When the body is killed, the soul doesn't die. So we are missing our own culture, that we do not take very much care to understand Bhagavad Gita as it is. We make our wrong interpretation and spoil the whole thing. These habits should be stopped. Otherwise, our culture is almost already lost. Then this Bharatiya culture, It is very important culture. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that. Bharat Bhumi te haila manushya janma jar janma sarthaka kari kar paropakar. This is Gita Mata 9.31. Paropakar. The Bharat Bhumi is meant for doing good to others. Bharat Bhumi is not meant for exploiting others. This is not Bharatiya mission. Paropakar. So every Indian, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Because every Indian is born Krishna conscious. Naturally he's got instinct. Don't destroy it. Don't destroy it. That is our request. We have got already instinct to serve Krishna. We have seen practically whenever we hold some festival in Calcutta, Bombay and other big cities, thousands of people, 20,000, 50,000, 30,000 people, and entering. If we simply introduce this Krishna consciousness movement, you will very soon see that the face of India is different. Anarthopasamam sakshat bhakti yoga mayokshaje. We have captured so many anarthas. Anartha means meaningless life. Anartha means unwanted habits. We have contracted so many unwanted habits. Anarthopasamam sakshat bhakti yogam adokshaje lokasya janata sakre sattva samhita. The foolish people, they do not know it. Therefore, Vidvam Shakre Sattva Samhitam. The Sattva Samhita is Srimad Bhagavatam. To remove the unwanted habits of the people, Sri Vedavyas, he wrote this Sattva Samhita. So let us combinedly preach the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a preliminary study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita ends Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja. This is the end of Bhagavad Gita's instruction. Give up all nonsense, just take shelter under my lotus feet, Sri Krishna is telling. If you hesitate that, if I give up everything, you haven't got to give up everything, but you have to understand the meaning of life. Arjun, when he understood Bhagavad Gita, he did not give up his profession as a military man. But what was the change? The change is Krishna. The change is Krishna inquired from Arjuna. What is now? I have spoken to you everything about Jnana and Guhyatamam, confidential knowledge, more confidential knowledge, most confidential knowledge. Now, what is your opinion? Krishna asked Arjuna. Now you consider upon it and what would you like? So upon this, Arjuna replied, Nashta mutir lagva karishya vachanam tava. So Arjuna told that my illusion is now over. My memory is now returned. Karishya vachanam tava. Bhagavad Gita 18.73. I shall act according to you. This is Krishna consciousness. Try to understand what is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. You haven't got to give up everything. You can be engaged in everything, but if you recognize everything according to the instruction of Krishna, then it will be successful. Otherwise, it will be failure. So we have tested all these things. How many programs and plans we have made, and everything has failed. Why not try to take the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and try to utilize for practical life? It will be successful. There is no doubt about it. I am speaking from my practical experience. Now these foreigners, they are neither Hindus, nor Indian, nor Brahmins. How they are taking? They are not fools and rascals. They are coming from respectable family, educated. So we have got our centers in Iran also. In Tehran, I am just coming from there. We have got so many Mohammedan students, and they have also taken to it. In Africa, they are taken to it. In Australia, they are taken to it. All over the world. So that is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Prithvite achat nagradi grama sarvatra prachar haive more rama. This is the prediction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As many towns and villages are there all over the world, this Krishna consciousness movement will be spread. So there is no credit for me. It is only by a teeny attempt and humble attempt. So if one man could do, if you say, some success, Why not all of us? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given power of attorney to all Indians. भारत भूमि ते हैला मनुष्य जन्म जार जन्म सार्थक करी परोपकार. He's speaking to the manushya, not to the cats and dogs. So manushya janma jara janma sarthak kari paropakar. First of all, try to understand what is the purpose of life. That is called janma sarthak. Janma sarthaka kari paropakar. Go everywhere there is very good demand for Krishna consciousness. So everyone should be prepared. Everyone should understand Bhagavad Gita. Of course, it is not possible for everyone to go. Still, if one understands, that is also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order. Amaragya Guruhana Tarai Desh. He says, every one of you become a guru. How can I become guru? I am not very learned scholar. I have no education. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no. Even though you are not very much educated, not born of a high family, you simply Jare dekhe tare kaha Krishna upadesh Amaragya Guru Haya Tara Desh. That's all. You become a guru. Krishna upadesha. Don't adulterate it. But as Krishna says, you say, you become guru. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I have tried that. I have tried to follow the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instruction and I am presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is. There is no magic. There is no jugglery. People are taking. If you do that, everyone will be happy. The world will be happy. And India's glory will be spread all over the world. Thank you very much. Anarthaposhamam sakshat bhakti yogam adoksaje lokasya janato vidvans chakre satvata samhitam. So the material miseries of the living entity which are superfluous to him can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the mass of people do not know this, and therefore the learned Vyasadeva compiled this Vedic literature, which is in relation to the supreme truth. We were discussing this verse yesterday, anartha. This anartha means this material civilization. There is no need and still we have accepted it. That is anartha, meaningless. So there are hundreds and thousands of anarthas, as it is stated that Shotavyadini Rajendra Nodam Santi Sahasrasha. Sahasrasha means thousands and thousands. Because we have created anartha, unnecessary necessities of life. Therefore, we have to know that we have to learn, we have to teach so many unwanted things. Just like there is a problem now, especially in the Western countries, unwanted population. They do not want, but it is increasing. Similarly, unwanted necessities. This is called anartha. Simple thing. Just like we require some food, that is essential. We cannot live without taking food. That is not possible. So Krishna is giving very simple formula that annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhava. If there is sufficient quantity of anna or eatables, then people become very nice, well satisfied, either animal or man. If he can eat sufficiently, he is satisfied. So annat bhavanti bhutani. Bhavanti means flourish. He becomes healthy, he becomes strong, and he can think nicely. He can work nicely. So anna is required. The simple method is given how anna is produced. That is also given. Anna bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhava. If there is sufficient rain, then you can easily produce food grain. Just like this year, the rain is sufficient. Everywhere we go, it is green. Green means sufficient food for the animals. And if the field is very soft, you can till it and you can very easily get very nice food stuff. Therefore, parjanya, water, rain is required. Parjanyat anna sambhava and yajnat bhavanti parjanya. And by performing yajna, there will be cloud and rain. So yajna is required. In this age, Kali Yuga, it is very difficult to perform Vedic ritualistic yajnas. It requires tons of ghee and food grains. And people have nothing to eat even. But Shastra has made it very easy. Yajnaha sankirtana prair yajanti sumedasa. If you Krishna Varnam Pisha Krishnam Sango Pangasa Parshadam Yajna Sankirtana prayarjanti sumedasa. If you perform the Sankirtan Yajna, then it is as good as any other Yajna. Yajna means to satisfy the Yajna Purusha Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. So in the Kali Yuga, simply by performing Yajnas, you can satisfy the Supreme Lord. Yajna Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Hi Sumedasa. We have seen in many places by performing Yajna, the Sankirtan Yajna, where it was very dry, rain has fallen. This is practical. So things are very easy. But instead of producing food grains, we are producing Goodyear tires. Now when there is scarcity of foodstuff, you cannot eat Goodyear tires. Goodyear is a brand of tires. So how we can eat? Now when there is scarcity of foodstuff, you cannot eat the Goodyear tires. But people's attention has been diverted in the industrial activities. They are given allurement. Come here. I shall give you 20 rupees per day. You give up your agricultural activities. You come in the factory, produce tire, tube, iron stool, and so on and so on. So we are violating the orders of Krishna. Krishna says that produce food grains, but we are producing unnecessary things, and therefore you are suffering. Krishna is giving very good advice. Annad bhavanti bhutani. You produce sufficient food grain all over, not only here. Another anartha is this nationalism. This is America, this is India, this is Africa, this is Australia. Why? Ishavasyamidam sarvam. Simple thing. Everything belongs to God. Ishavasya. There will be no scarcity. I have studied very thoroughly that there are sufficient land still without any cultivation. In Africa, I have seen sufficient land, but they are utilizing it for producing coffee and tea, no food grains. So these are anarthas. Anartha, unnecessary. People will not die without coffee and tea, but they have made the whole world self-dependent on coffee and tea, mercantile policy. There is anartha. So, anartha, if you want happy life, peaceful life, progressive life, then you have to curtail these anarthas. Anartha nivritti syat. Without curtailing these anarthas, unwanted things, you cannot become happy. So that is recommended here. Anartha nivritti syat sakshat bhaktam bhakti yogam adokshita. As soon as you have become a devotee, all anarthas become immediately vanquished. Just like here, these Europeans and Americans, they are accustomed to anarthas from the very beginning of their life. And the latest anartha was their intoxication, LSD. But by Bhakti Yoga, because they have taken to Bhakti Yoga, gradually they have given all these habits. Even government is surprised. In Europe, especially in America, their government is spending millions of dollars to stop this LSD habit. They cannot do it. They praise our movement in this connection. Even government is surprised. In Europe, especially in America, their government is spending millions of dollars to stop this LSD habit. They cannot do it. They praise our movement in this connection. And as soon as one comes to this movement, he immediately gives up, immediately without any hesitation. I make this first condition that you have to give up all kinds of intoxication, not only LSD, even drinking tea, coffee, smoking, everything you have to give up. Chewing pan, everything. And they agree. You do not make any compromise that you can do any nonsense and still you become initiative. Give me some money. No. We don't make such compromise. You must first of all agree to give up all these sinful activities. Then I can accept you. I can initiate you. This is our process. So compulsory, the government is trying to make compulsory, but that cannot. You cannot make a person honest simply by legislation. He must be vimarshanam, prayashittam vimarshanam. One must be fully conscious. Now what I have done, what I am doing, it is wrong. Then another nivrutti syat. Just like a person who is a thief, he knows that I am stealing and if I am arrested, I will be punished. He knows that. And he has seen that one thief is arrested. So we got two kinds of experiences. One kind of experience by hearing. If you do this, then the result will be like this. That is hearing. And one kind of experience by directly seeing. So the thief has both. He has seen that a thief has been punished and he knows by hearing from the law books or from religious books that stealing is not good. But still he commits repeatedly again and again stealing. Why? Because he has no knowledge. Therefore, knowledge is essential. That knowledge can be reviewed. This is Krishna Chaitanya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagi Nirvapanam Triyatairava Chandrika Vitranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Mudivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swaganam Sarvatma Stambanam Balam Vijayati Shri Krishna. So why the Shastra says Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Spuranam Par Sivanam Archanam Mandanam Dasam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. Chanting and hearing about Vishnu, not for any other god. That is not recommended, but they make because they are impersonalists. They have no god. They have made God means imagination. But God is not imagination. God here is Krishna. He is not imagination. He says, Aham Adiri Devanam. I am the origin of everyone. Aham Sarvasya Prabho Matta Sarvam Pravartate Ikimatva Vajante Mam. Aham Sarvasya Prabho Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samandita. So because you do not know what is God and our life is void, but here Krishna is personally coming. Yada yada hi dharmasya granir bhavati bharata abhyuthana vadharmasya tadatmanam sajamyaham. What is that glani? Dharmasya glani. That you are very dharmic, so-called dharmic. But you have no understanding what is God. That is nonsense. That is not dharma. Dharmam to sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Dharma means the order of God. That if you don't know God, if you manufacture your God, God has no head, no mouth, no nose, no nostril, nothing, no. Ultimately zero. So there are two kinds of dangerous persons. One person is atheist, agnostic. Another person is Mayavadi, impersonalist. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. Therefore, these two things are mentioned. Mayavadi. There is no God. He is a gentleman because he does not believe. But the person who takes the shelter of Vedas and professes that I am Vedic, I am Vedanti and refuses the form of God is more dangerous. In the statement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vedana Mania Bauda Hayata Nastika Vedashraya Nastikyavada Bauddhake. The Nastik, the Buddhists, they are Nastik. They are called Nastik according to our Shastra because Lord Buddha denied the existence, the authority of the Vedas. Nindasi yagya vider ahashruti jatam sadaya rudaya darshita pashughatam Keshavadruta Buddha Sharira Jaya Jagatisha Hare. Keshavadruta Buddha Sharira. Keshava Krishna has come taking the form of Lord Buddha. We Vaishnava, we worship Lord Buddha as the incarnation of Keshava, Krishna, but we don't accept his philosophy. So there is a great history. We have mentioned many times that these Buddhists, they say that we do not recognize your Vedas. Vedana Maniya Buddha Hayata Pakhanda. Therefore, we call them agnostic. We do not, because why we do not accept them authority? Because if you do not accept the authority of Vedas, then you become godless immediately. Because Krishna says, Vedesha Sarar Ahameva Vedya. If you do not understand Vedic knowledge, if you do not understand Vedanta, if you do not understand Upanishad, without understanding this Vedic knowledge, understanding of the Supreme Personality of God, it is vague. It is no clear idea. Therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami has said, Shruti Smriti Pranadi Pancharatra Vidin Vina Aikanti Ki Harir Bhakti Pataye Kalpate. Shruti Smriti Pranadi Pancharatra Vidin Vina Aikanti Ki Harir Bhakti Utpataye Kalpate. Uh, if one is not in awareness of the conclusion of Vedas, conclusion of the Smriti, conclusion of the Puranas, Pancharatra Vidhi, Nar Pancharatra, Aikanti ki Harar Bhakti without reference to this Vedic literature. Rupa Goswami has said Utpat, simply disturbance, simply a disturbance. Manufacturing. They manufacture some ways. There are so many anarthas. If you want to detail, it will take long time. Anyway, if you want to, I mean to say, abolish all kinds of anarthas, unwanted things, then we must take to Bhakti Yoga. Then everything will be clear. Everything will be clear. Very clear. Shrvatam Sakatha Krishna. The Shrvatam Sakatha. Just like you are so kind enough to come here to hear about Krishna consciousness by this process. This has been recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sthane Sthita Shatikatam Tanuvang Manovir. You remain in your place. You don't require to become a sannyasi, mendicant, or brahmachari, or change your place. No. When Ramananda Rai quoted this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was discussing about the aim of life and the process of reaching the aim of life. He mentioned many things, karma, jnana, yoga, etc., and so many things. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Eva Vahya, Age Kaha. Yes, this statement is very important. If you know still further, if you know more, still further, Veda. So, in this way, step by step, when Ramananda came to this conclusion that Jnane Prayasamudapasanamantame Jivanti Sanmukharitam Bhavadiya Vartam Sthane Sita Shutigatam Tanuvang Manovir Prayasha Jito Pitaysa Mukyam. This is a statement that remain in your place, but hear from the authorities about Krishna. Then everything will be clear. Shruvatam Sakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Rudyantasto Yavadrani Vidnoti Sustam. Even if you do not understand a word, if you hear from the realized soul about Krishna, then Rudhi Antastohi Avadrani Vidinoti Suluktata. Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. Ishvarasara Bhutanam Ruddesha Arjuna Tishtati. If we become sincere to hear about Krishna, then Krishna will help us. Tesham Satadiktanam Bhagatam Pritipurokam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yenamamapayami. He will give intelligence. This is the process. Tesham Ivanu Kampartham Am Ajnanam Sapam Aksham Jnana Dipena Bhasata. These things are there. Therefore, if you want to abolish all unwanted things of life, simply come to the spiritual platform. Because that is our aim. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. This human life is meant for spiritual understanding, not for inner purpose. Tapassaiva heto, tassaiva heto prayate to kovido. Shastra recommends. Only for spiritual understanding, engage your activities. And what will be the other things about my family life, worldly life? That is said that Tatlal Lavate Dukkhavat Anyataha Sukham. Just like you don't aspire or don't wish for the distressed condition, it comes upon you. Similarly, whatever happy condition in your life is expected, that will also come. You don't require. There are many places. So our endeavor, the human energy should be fully engaged in understanding Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness movement, nothing else. Other things we should minimize. Yavad Ashray with Purti. Otherwise, thing we should minimize. Yavat artha prayojanam. Just to maintain the body and soul together, you should live very nicely. You should not become weak by health. Otherwise, we cannot execute devotional service. But don't eat more. Don't eat unnecessary things. Atyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha. Janasangasya laulyam cha shadgir bhakti vinasya. Atyar to eat more or to collect more than is required. That is forbidden by Rupa Goswami. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangasya laulyam cha shadgir bhakti vinasya. So anartha nivritti, that is required. Because we are surrounded by so many anarthas, unwanted things, they are all impediments, stumbling blocks on our progressive journey to Vishnu realization. Here it is said, anartha nivritti syat bhakti yoga madokshaje lokasya janata tatvam chakre dhatu samhidam. Therefore, it is Vedic version and directly to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and become free from all contamination of the material nature, because we are now under the contamination of material nature. प्रकृति क्रियमाणानि गुणै कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकारी मूढ़ात्मा कर्ता मिति मन्यते. We are thinking we are very independent. We can do any nonsense, whatever you like. Who cares for? But that is not good, because we are not independent. We are completely under the grip of material nature. Simply as a crazy man, we declare independence. That is not a good idea. We must know what are the anarthas and how we shall get out of it. Thank you very much. So this was Swami Maharaj lecture on 1.7.6. We'll discuss tomorrow 1.7.7. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Happy Ekadashi to all of you. Hare Krishna. Shri Guru Gauranga Andardika Giridhari. Shri Radha Vinodhyar Ji ki jai. Jai Nikala President Guru Shishna Narayan Krishna Maharaj Gurudev ki jai.